News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Our senator-elect responds to President Obama's speech last night. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Friday. Congratulations, you made it. Friday, November 21st, Grizzcat weekend. And right now we have a very, very mild 27 degrees in Missoula. Now, we did not get the rain and snow that primarily more north and west of us received overnight. We just got some clouds and 27 degrees at this point. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Temprite Service. For all of your plumbing and heating needs, call Team Blue. They're the local experts, 728-1111. Senator-elect Steve Daines called on President Obama last night to abandon his plan to grant executive amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants and instead focus on securing the nation's borders and enforce existing immigration laws.
I don't say this very often, but you know what? I agree with him. His job as president is to enforce the laws that Congress has passed. But now President Obama seems to have forgotten that he is not a king. President Obama's plan to extend executive amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants is an unacceptable abuse of power that goes against the will of the American people.
Daines says Obama has long said that he has no legal authority to extend executive amnesty.
As the president said himself, and I quote, "That's not how our democracy works. That's not how our Constitution is written." President Obama should abandon this planned executive overreach and work with Congress to secure our borders and strengthen enforcement of the existing immigration laws.
Obama, the president, bypassed congressional approval last night during his speech to grant by executive order legal status and work permits for up to 5 million illegal immigrants. 74-year-old Jack Berry of Corvallis appeared in Hamilton District Court yesterday, Ravalli County District Court yesterday, and waived extradition to California, where he's wanted for several sex crimes allegedly committed against children. Deputy County Attorney Thorin Geist has the details.
Mr. Berry's been charged with oral copulation or sexual penetration with a child 10 years or younger and lewd acts upon a child under the age of 14, both felonies in the requesting state of California.
Berry has been held in the Ravalli County Jail on $1 million bond. Geist says transport will take place to California as soon as it can be arranged by the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office. The Swiss-born researcher who gained international recognition for discovering the bacteria that causes Lyme disease has died in western Montana. The Daily Leech Chapel said in a phone call that Wilhelm Willy Bergdorfer died of Parkinson's disease earlier this week. In Hamilton, he was 89. Bergdorfer was educated in Switzerland. He came to the Rocky Mountain Laboratory in Hamilton as a research fellow in 1951 and joined the staff as a medical entomologist 6 years later. In 1982, while he and another researcher were studying deer ticks in hopes of uncovering the cause of a spotted fever outbreak in New York, Bergdorfer found the microorganisms called spirochetes that would prove to be the cause of Lyme disease. The infection had caused children living near Lyme, Connecticut, to develop rheumatoid arthritis. The spirochete was later named after Bergdorfer. A fast food restaurant in Lolo reported to authorities that they had received several counterfeit $20 bills in the past few days. Missoula County Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Paige Pavolone says her office received a call from the McDonald's restaurant in Lolo.
The manager at the restaurant said that she was closing her till at the end of the night and observed that there were several bills that just looked different from all the other ones. And when she inspected them further, one side appeared darker than the other side, as if it was printed with a heavier ink, and thus disclosing them as looking suspicious.
Because there's no surveillance video at the restaurant, the manager did not have a time frame in which the money might have been passed. So authorities are asking for the public's help in locating this suspect.
But we wanted to put the information out to the public. If anybody had any information about this, this is a really big deal, counterfeiting money and producing replications of U.S. money. So if anybody's got information, they're asked to call Crime Stoppers or the Missoula County Sheriff's Office specifically.
Counterfeiting is a federal offense that's often investigated by the U.S. Secret Service. A coroner's jury found no criminal wrongdoing in the death of a Cutbank man who was involved in a lengthy standoff with Havre police in April. KOJM Radio reports an inquest held on November 14th found Robert Thomas of Cutbank died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, ending a 21-hour standoff. Montana law requires an inquest be held anytime someone dies in the presence of law enforcement officers. Thomas was reportedly being sought after someone brought a pistol into a Havre bar. The standoff began when an officer stopped Thomas's car, and Thomas fled the vehicle with a gun. At the time, state officials said Thomas had absconded from parole. Right now, hunters are dealing with one of the hardest parts of the hunting season. Vivica Krauser with Fish, Wildlife and Parks says the skiff of snow we've received has helped to keep the harvests somewhat level.
Not a lot going on with wildlife in the middle of the season. Sometimes those kind of early season hot spots have passed, and then not quite into the mule deer rut in a lot of places yet. But the cold and snow has helped. We've got good tracking conditions in some spots, and animals moving around. So all things considered, it's stayed fairly steady through the season.
Luckily, deer hunting in western Montana has been relatively easy this year.
Deer have been coming from all places in the region, really. We've seen a lot of deer through the Bonner check station, so those coming out of the Blackfoot and Sealy Swan areas. Just anecdotally, we've heard of quite a few hunter harvest success stories west of Missoula, and then the Bitterroot's also been good for deer harvest, both out of the Big Hole and the southern reaches of the Bitterroot.
Although deer harvests are up, the elk harvest this year is worse than last year and below the 5-year average. In 2012, the Gianforte Family Foundation helped to bring the ACE Scholarship Program to Montana. Now, ACE spokesman Greg Gianforte says new funding will provide private school scholarships for up to 700 students, with a special emphasis on Native American students.
We've been able to carve out $100,000 this year to specifically help the Native American communities, and that's going to the St. Labray School out in Ashland. It's going to the school up in Browning. It's also going to the school in Hayes and St. Xavier to really come alongside those schools and help them serve the Native American community as well.
The waiting list for ACE scholarships is growing.
We have 350 kids on the waiting list. We'd like to do more. The long-term goal, I think the long-term goal is for every single family in the state of Montana to be able to pick the best education for their child. ACE is one step towards making that a reality. Choice is the best way that we can improve. And unfortunately, Montana is one of just a couple of states that has no school choice legislation.
Recipients receive an average of about $2,700 to attend the private school of their choice. News Talk Times 610.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few isolated rain and snow showers. Highs today will warm to the upper 30s and low 40s. Tonight, a chance of rain, which will mix with snow by Saturday. We'll see your highs Saturday in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.